Hey everyone, I am really excited to start a three-part series with you today to sort of explain how I lost the last 25 pounds and how the plant-based diet made me an overeater and how I fixed all that. You guys are always asking me this, so I'm really excited to share what I've learned and what I'm doing and what I've been doing to keep it off. So let's just jump in and get started. So as I mentioned earlier, over the next couple of days, I'm going to show you exactly what I did to lose the last 25 pounds. That's my recent abs just because I felt I needed to be accountable and honest. So I'm not going to hold anything back. I'm sharing everything I learned, exactly what I did. I'm going to show you what I eat, like with pictures, why it works, and I'm going to really dig into the very science that I use to sort of figure all of this out, to break my weight barrier, and to get it going again when I hit sort of this weight I just couldn't get past. And I've used it with clients and it's been super successful. It works amazing. So I'm really excited to show it. And like I said, this is a full disclosure, everything, my three biggest culprits, which I'm going to get into today. Let's see, what else am I going to tell you? Oh, and these culprits are probably yours, and we're going to get to that in just a hot second. And I'm going to tell you what I've been doing to maintain my weight loss for the last 3.5 years. But I've really just sort of taken everything that I've learned from the meal plans, coaching people, the Shortcut to Slim podcast, myself, experimenting, and I've just put it all together for you. I've packed it up into this nice, neat, easy to follow package so you can get the results that I did, sort of use it like a blueprint. So that's my before and after, which I know a lot of you guys have seen. And if my story, which I'm going to tell you here in a second, sounds a lot like yours, if you feel you are hearing yourself, even just parts in my story, you definitely don't want to miss tomorrow's science lesson because I'm going to really break it down what's going on. All right, so my story. Are you ready? So it started out great. I immediately saw positive changes in my health, and you could say I was a vegan success story. Going vegan cleared up a lot of medical issues I had that I thought I was going to live with forever, like heartburn, acid reflux, acne, insomnia, migraines, IBS. All of that was gone. And it's a miracle because I was in law school at the time. So if there was ever a time when I should have been having migraines and IBS and all that, it should have been then, but going vegan fixed it all. The one thing, though, that was super disappointing, like really disappointing, was that I only lost 5 pounds. And this is crazy because I was paying over $1,000 a month for a personal trainer. This is crazy. I actually had a second, not a first, but a second part-time job just to pay for the personal trainer. And that's sort of the 5 pound difference. I don't know if you can see it. I definitely can't, but those are the 5 pound difference. So like I said, it was crazy. But this trainer that I'd hired, that I was paying $1,000 a month for and had a second part-time job to pay for, he and I couldn't agree on protein. There was a whole lot of drama, as I'm sure a lot of you guys can understand. But to sort of prove him wrong, or just to have an answer to all the things he was saying to me, I set out looking for a study or something to show him that, yes, I was getting enough protein. That's not the problem. And that's how I found all the doctors we know and love, like Dr. McDougall and Dr. Campbell and Dr. Furman and all of them. I read all of their books literally in the span of 2 weeks. And I was immediately sold. I was completely sold, hook, line, and sinker. I found the plant-based diet. This made sense. This is what I wanted. And that's sort of how I became the happy herbivore. I couldn't imagine cooking without oil. And I love to tell the story that my husband would tell me to cut back on the oil because I poured so much in and it was expensive. So I couldn't figure out how I was going to make this work. But as I searched for answers, I started documenting my experiences, which is how my blog Happy Herbivore started. And I discovered I had a real interest in cooking. Like I really, really enjoyed it, even though previously I'd avoided it like the plague my entire life. So there I am with my first cookbook. And going plant-based actually did do great things for me. The weight actually did start to slide off. Like I didn't see the results with being vegan, but it definitely started to slide off with going plant-based. I lost about 15 pounds, which you can see in this picture. And it inspired my husband so much that he decided to get on board, and he lost 40 pounds. I lost 15, he lost 40, but you know what? I was just so happy to see a difference. But then as time went on, and especially as I wasn't really changing anymore, I kept hearing these comments like, you're vegan, or, oh, really? You eat that healthy and you still look like that? I expected you to be smaller. And I was just kind of like, okay, those are all nice people. But it was also true. I really couldn't deny it. Like, I really felt like I wasn't the best example of a plant-based or vegan diet. Like, I thought I looked good and I was definitely healthy and feeling pretty great, but I kind of got what they were saying, even if it was sort of mean. And I don't know. I got to this weight that I couldn't break. It was 140 pounds for me. It was a weight barrier. I couldn't get past it. And I would, maybe gain a little bit or lose a little bit and yo-yo to a little 5-10 pound range. But I really just couldn't get past this 140. I couldn't do it. I don't know why. I just could not get past this 140 weight barrier. And the plant-based diet, which had worked so beautifully, my husband just kept on losing. He went off to lose 65 pounds. But what worked for those 15 pounds, like, it just wasn't working. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't working. And working with a lot of clients, I found that there's other barriers, including 120, 160, 200, 250, and 300 as well. But so that's me in my weight barrier, can't get past the 140 pounds. And just to have sort of a picture of what I started at, just to keep us all fresh in perspective and where I ended up at, here you go. So that was me, and I was desperate. I was just so desperate to lose the weight. I didn't like how I looked. I had horrible, like, rashes in my arms and legs from my skin rubbing. My stomach still hung over my pants. I wasn't happy. This wasn't the person that I saw inside myself. And so I hired another personal trainer because I didn't learn the first time. And it was the same thing. I was paying like $1,000 a month. And this time I was really pretty committed to it. I, was like, that's it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to work out almost every single day. And I really did. But before we get all to that, when I hired the personal trainer again, the gym that I was at required me to get my body fat measured. And I was like, what? What is this? And it shocked me. I was shocked. Even though I was at a healthy weight for my height, and my doctor was super proud, I was at the tippy top, like the exact highest amount I could be to still be in the healthy range. And the girl who was doing my body fat was like, wow, your body fat percentage is really high. I was like a hair away from not being in the healthy range. And this was crazy to me. I was so shocked because I was at a healthy weight. So how is it that my body fat percentage was so unhealthy? But that's where I was. So like I said, I committed to 2 months with the trainer. I worked out almost every day. I had, rest days here and there as he prescribes. And I even at one point at the end of the 2 months tried a modified vegan version of the diet he was telling me I had to do to lose weight. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No results. I didn't look any different. And you can see how super duper happy I look in this hike. It's a beautiful place and I'm miserable. But meanwhile, I'd started getmealplans.com, which is my meal plan business. And at the time, people were posting that they had lost 5, 20, 50, even 100 pounds using the plans. And secretly at night, I would be like, why? Why them and not me? And I felt so horrible and so terrible that I had these thoughts. And like, I was so glad that they were getting success, but I couldn't understand, like, why was it working for them? And it's not working for me. And I'm such a fraud. And I don't know. So I inevitably quit the personal trainer and decided that I was just going to be perfect. I was going to be the most perfect plant eater on the planet. Like, this is going to be me. I'm going to be so perfect. And so I was. But even when I was 100% plant perfect and I wasn't cheating with a little vegan junk food anymore, I still couldn't break that 140 pound barrier. I just couldn't do it. So I decided to make more changes. And this is when I say I went crazy, because the changes I made were crazy. I was so desperate. I was so crazy. So the first thing I did was I decided to stop eating all sugar, salt, oil, and this includes alcohol as well, for real. Like, I said that before. I said before that I wasn't eating sugar, salt, and oil, but there were still a few, like, things that slipped by, a few convenience things, a favorite hummus, a favorite marinara had a touch of sugar in it. Like, there was a couple of little things here and there. And I was like, that's it. No, no more. Absolutely no sugar, no salt, no oil, for real, no alcohol, nah. And it didn't work. So then I cut out flour products. No breads, no tortillas, no pasta, not even the like oil-free whole wheat varieties, not even the bean pastas, not the gluten-free pastas, like no breads, no corn tortillas, no wheat tortillas, none of it. Zip, nada. I think even for a while I wasn't even eating rice. I definitely wasn't eating white rice, but I was just like, nope, not that. And that actually worked for a little bit, like for a couple of weeks it worked, and then that stopped working too. And I was like, okay. So then I tried one more thing, which was I'm going to make everything from scratch. I made all my beans from scratch, my rice, broth, ketchup, you name it, marinara, I made it. I got to this point, it was, oh my God, it was so crazy, you guys. I made everything from scratch. There was barely a moment that I wasn't in the kitchen making food or thinking about what I had to make next. I couldn't go out socially. I was a delight, let me tell you. God bless my husband, because I was a delight at this time in my life. But I just was so desperate to lose this weight. I just wanted it. And I just kept believing, if I'm a little bit more perfect, like just be a little bit more perfect. And that's what I kept hearing on the internet. And that's what everyone was saying, just be perfect. And I was like, but I am perfect. It is not working. And then I gained weight. I started gaining a lot of weight. I started gaining almost all of it back. The worst part was I gained 7 pounds in a week. And I tried to believe that it was just poop or inflammation or something, but it didn't go away the next week. And that's sort of how it was. That's how it was for me. I was gaining weight, and I was so perfect with my food. And I felt like a fraud, worse than ever. Like I'd already kind of felt like one, but I was like, who am I? I'm this person that's this plant-based. I fly around to all these conferences. I do all these talks, and like it's not working for me. So I guess that comes to the question is, all right, so how did I do it, right? How did I get to this and that? And my husband has some beautiful pictures in here, I know. And that, and I don't know, how many more abs and bikini pictures do you guys need? And so the way I did it is I started digging into the actual science. And a lot of you are familiar with my research podcast, Shortcut to Slim. And so I started sharing what I was learning. And what I learned shocked me. I still am shocked. Like I've known it now for 2.5 years, and I still can't believe the research that I learned. And that's what I want to start sharing with you today and in the next couple of videos. So like I said, for my own sanity and vanity, I started digging into the actual science behind weight loss and found the answers. And like I said, they're shocking. So the first one for me, the number one culprit, biggest above all for me, was overeating. So, and I've said this, if you've read any of my overeater posts or you've heard the podcast when I started it, I kicked it off and said like the plant-based diet made me an overeater. And I really kind of dig into that in the posts in the podcast, so I'm not going to do that here, but long story short, all of the leading gurus in the plant-based diet, and I don't just mean the doctors, I mean like the bloggers and the YouTubers and the Instagrammers and all of them, they tell you that you can eat as much as you want. As long as it's a low-fat plant food, you will lose weight. And that's the biggest, fattest lie. It literally is a fat lie. It's such a lie. Vegetables, fruits, nothing has magic calories that don't count. It just doesn't exist. That's physics. It just doesn't exist. But that's what I wanted to hear. Like I wanted to hear that I could eat things. I remember that's what was attractive about Weight Watchers is there was free. And I just was like, yeah, no, I wanted to, it was what I wanted to hear. It was a good news, but a bad habit. I wanted to eat as much. I wanted to eat more. I like eating. No, it doesn't work out that way. It was a big fat lie. Plants don't have magic calories that don't count. I still have to remind myself of that every single day. And I realized that it's like my car. If you overfill your gas tank, eventually gas spills back out at you and you create a fire hazard. And your body is no different, except the fire hazard is that you gain weight or you don't lose, whichever one of the two. So my second culprit, and I'm going to really dig into this tomorrow because the science is so fascinating and amazing, and it really explained it all for me and clicked, and I finally lost weight once I understood this part. So we're going to get into that tomorrow. But I didn't know about the thermic effect of feeding or the cost of digestion. I didn't know about this. I wasn't spending my calories in the most beneficial way. And this all has to do with the thermic effect of feeding, which I'm going to get into tomorrow. But sort of for now, Dr. McDougall gets it half right with he says that fat from food is more easily stored as body fat than carbohydrates. That's true. Some foods are stored more quickly, but others are digested more easily, which gives you calories on the back end. Specifically processed foods, and I don't just mean like chips and Oreos, I mean anything that's processed, even like a little bit. All of them sort of have more calories than what their label says because there's a decreased cost of digestion. And even doing the processing yourself, like making a smoothie in a blender or something, the same sort of thing is happening, is you're getting calories back on the back end because there's a lower cost of digestion. And this is why counting calories never works perfectly. And if you've ever done that, you realize like initially counting calories worked really well, but then as you sort of got closer to your destination, closer to your final weight, it stopped working. And if you're like me, at one point you tried to game the system, like, oh, I have 140 calories. Yeah, that's time for cookies. No, that didn't ever work out so well. And I never knew why, but it's because it's not the straight math. There's this cost of digestion and thermic effect of feeding, which, like I said, we're going to really get into tomorrow. It's so fascinating, guys. It's so fascinating. You really, really want to learn, especially if you've been an overeater. So don't miss that. I'm also going to tell you the 2 best foods to eat when you are hungry and why they work. And one of them is the one and only snack I'll ever eat ever. And you guys are always asking me, Lindsay, what do you do for a snack? What's a healthy snack? What's a healthy snack? Well, tomorrow you're going to find out. So that's sort of what's going on there. And then my third culprit, which I won't get into tomorrow, but like another day after that, was that I was seeking this dragon called comfortably full and comfortably satiated, and it doesn't exist. There's plenty of science out that the scientists still don't know what makes us feel full or satisfied, and so trying to chase it is absolutely crazy. You will never find it. And I can know that there would be times where I was so stuffed I thought I can't possibly eat anything else, and then chocolate or the dessert tray went by and magically I was hungry and had more room. So my experience is this does not exist at all. I still haven't found it. But I have done things to learn how to handle that and how to eat more biologically. And there's 2 sort of like really awesome ways that I've done this. And like I said, I'm going to get into this in another video later. Which the 2 things that helped me learn to eat more biologically and stop my overeating, to really sort of get my portions in check, because my appetite was crazy and I was used to eating 4 plates of food. So any reduction just seemed like terrible to me. So how I handled all of that was 2 ways, 2 little tricks. Like I said, I'm going to dig into this later, is that 1, I needed to have a picture in my head of what a meal should look like. And then I needed to eat specific meals for a few weeks to develop that picture. So it kind of like made sense. And I had that framework in my brain. And it really also, while I was building that framework, I came to really understand my portion needs. And then with the thermic effect of feeding, I also understood like what was the best to eat, why to eat it, what to eat, and all just sort of click together. And that's going to happen for you in these next couple of videos. I'm so excited to share all this stuff. I really nerd out so much on the science, and I'm so glad that someone else is going to benefit from my nerding. If you don't want to read the 54 books I did and do all the sleuthing yourself, you're definitely in the right place with these videos. So anyway, so that's exactly how I lost the weight, kept it off, and really it's also the secret to maintaining. That's really the secret to maintaining, learning exactly how much food your body actually needs. And P.S., it's more than you want it to be. So there's going to be some acceptance coming. But it's also eating the exact quantity instead of treating meals as free-for-alls or eating until you're full or thinking that something doesn't count in numbers of ways because you think plants have magic calories, or you think standing in front of the fridge doesn't count, or like slivers of cake don't equal a whole piece. It's all these crazy things that we do. Not so much. But I get it because I do it too. So to sort of summarize what's coming in the series is tomorrow, the surprising discovery that some foods have more calories than advertised because of their lower cost of digestion, and a super fun lesson on the thermic effect of feeding tomorrow. Definitely don't miss that. I'm also going to share with you tomorrow the 2 best foods to eat when you're hungry and why, and you will not guess these, and then you'll hear them and you'll be like, this is totally possible. And every time I hear, oh, but life's hard, time, convenience, these 2 things there's no excuse. You always have these 2 things to come back to, and I eat them when I travel, and I don't want to cook. They're the best. So don't miss that. And there's also a fun little cosmic thing happening with that. So there's that. And then as I mentioned a little bit later, I'm going to talk about how you can reset your appetite so you finally stop overeating, especially if you've been overeating for a long time and have gotten used to tons and tons of food, which is me. I was going for plate after plate after plate after food because I was told to eat as much as I want, eat until I'm comfortably full. What is that? So I'm going to show you how to stop that portion distortion and eat more biologically and to really understand what you need. And like I said, it's not as much as we would all like. And then I'm also, because this is another big thing, is I'm actually going to take pictures of everything I eat in the day, and it's going to be live. I'm going to do it through Instagram. So you'll actually get to see with pictures. And so that's going to happen. So stay tuned for that. And fun times ahead. So, lastly, I'm going to be kind of emotional and say that I really just want to give you guys a hug. I want to say thank you so much for supporting me when I first came out as an overeater and what was happening 3 years ago. So many people wrote and said, Lindsay, thank you for saying that. Thank you. Your story was what mine was. I had so much support. There was very little haters. And I just want to say thank you so much for that. Recently, I posted some pictures on Instagram of my abs standing. And then I also posted myself sitting and showing how my skin was still really kind of loose. And I got so many nice emails from people saying thank you for keeping it real. And it means so much to me. But mostly, I just want to give you a hug and say, like, one, thanks for supporting me. Now let me support you and tell you that it's not your fault. If you haven't lost weight, if you've gained, if you've plateaued, it's not your failure, whatever you're seeing it as. It's not because you're not good enough or trying hard enough or because you're not perfect enough. I believed that. I believed it was my fault. And I believed that if I could just be more perfect, and that's not true. I've actually lost more weight being less perfect. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. But I want you to know it's not your fault. It's not at all. It's not your fault. And I don't want you to be so sad. Like, I was so sad all the time, wondering what I was doing wrong. Why wasn't it working? And so it's not your fault. And it's not because you're not trying hard enough or because you're not being perfect. Perfect has little to do with it. I mean, obviously, carrots are better for you than Cheetos or carrot cake, but you can crave to cravings sometimes. You can totally crave to cravings sometimes. And you can live your life, meaning you can eat at restaurants and be social, which is something I didn't do for a year, which is crazy. And I can't believe my husband's still married to me. And you can still lose weight. All you have to do is understand the science so you make the right choice. It's really simple. And there's all these simple swaps I'm going to show you. You're going to be like, oh my God, these are so easy. I can do this. It's so realistic. Like I'll tell you how you eat at restaurants. I'm going to tell you like 20 things I eat at Trader Joe's, like that are grab and go stuff and still lose weight and keep it off. It's amazing. It's just, you have to know this science and stop listening to all the all you can eat messages, because everything counts, and it counts in ways you don't quite know yet because of the thermic effect of feeding. But anyway, so keeping with our car analogy, because I love it and I love the gas tank one. You've just been in the wrong gear. If you're not succeeding right now, it's because you're not in the right gear. And pushing the gas pedal harder, aka trying to be more perfect like I was, that doesn't make you go faster. You can put it down, you can push the pedal all you want. If you're in the wrong gear, the car's just like, it doesn't go. But once you shift to the right one, you know you're off. You're off to the races, and that's what I'm going to help you do. That's what I'm going to do for you. This is an incredible opportunity for you to get unstuck with my blueprint, and I'm so excited to finally get to share it. So tomorrow, you're going to find out what to eat and why. But for now, I have a big question and a favor for you. Is I need you to help me out, because I'm going to do the last of these videos based on what everyone says, like whatever the big struggle is. So please leave a comment below. Select your number one struggle, whether it's overeating, snacking, time inconvenience, craving, social hunger. Do not just write the number or what the thing is. Don't give me like a long answer. Just pick it. Leave it in a comment right now. As I said, whichever one is the most popular for the group, for the community, because we're all involved in this. Anyway, so I'm going to create a special attack plan and go over the science for whichever one you guys all pick. So it's really important that you pick and you vote, because then I will do a special video just on that thing. So definitely pick it and vote. And it'll be really cool, because I'm going to say sort of, what was the most popular and all of that. Oh, good. Some of you guys are already doing it. Yay. Thanks so much. But yeah, like I said, please pick your number one struggle so I can do a special video on it for you. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me and being as fascinated by all this as I am, and giving me the opportunity to be of service to you and help you out. Like I said, there's going to be some really cool opportunities coming up. There's going to be some more videos. There's one tomorrow. If you are on my free newsletter through getmealplans.com, you're also getting all of this in text. So that's cool. And to sort of end this, I sent what I just said to you guys. I sent in a newsletter out to all of our members earlier today, and I asked them this same poll, what their struggle was, and they started voting this morning. And so as of about an hour ago, these were what the results were. Just in case you're curious what everyone else is sort of saying. And based on the things that are popping up right now, I definitely see that the numbers are pretty reflective of what's already been kind of said. So, like I said, I'm going to end it here. Make sure you leave a comment letting me know, because I want to do a video that's the best for the group, and the only way I know is if you vote. Thanks so much for watching. If you found any of this helpful, interesting, fascinating, please share it with a friend. I really want to break down these myths. It really kills me to know that so many people are out there struggling and suffering, and that it can be so easy to just stop if you know the science. And it's super fascinating, and it gives us a chance to improve ourselves and each other. So I love you. Share it, leave a comment, and I will be back training you guys tomorrow on the thermic effect of feeding.